Ladies and gentlemen, the Dean of the Newhouse School, Lorraine Branham.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 12th Annual Mirror Awards Ceremony. I am Lorraine Branham. I'm the Dean of the Newhouse School at Syracuse University, and I just realized that this is my 10th Mirror Awards, and it's also my 10-year anniversary as Dean, so very exciting time. Please start to enjoy your first course as I speak. I want to be able to get you all out on time. I want to start by thanking Discovery Incorporated and CEO David Zaslav for the many years they have served as the premier Mirror Awards event sponsor. This year, Discovery celebrates the 30th anniversary of Shark Week. Perhaps you've noticed those sharks in your seats. They have brought sharks for all of you to take home. We thank Discovery for their continued support of the Newhouse School and the Mirror Awards. Additionally, I would also like to thank Charter Communications, which alongside Discovery sponsored this year's competition. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. I know it's a busy time and you all have a lot going on, but I thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedules to be here. In doing so, you're supporting the Newhouse School, our students, and thereby supporting the future of journalism. Your financial investment in the Mirror Awards funds scholarships for our increasingly diverse student population. And you're also supporting the Mirror Awards program, which is also an investment in journalism. The Newhouse School established the Mirror Awards to recognize and amplify the vital role journalism plays in our democracy and society. This is the 12th year of the awards, but the last few years have really underscored their importance. This year, you'll note, we've added 2 special topic categories, one on fake news, the other on sexual misconduct in the media industry, issues that have roiled our industry on its head, but also elicited some of the best reporting of the past year. At a time when journalism seems to be under attack, we at the Newhouse School are proud to sponsor this competition and to host this gathering as a reminder that journalism matters. In addition to presenting the Jury Journalism Awards today, we also honor HBO's Sheila Nevins with the Fred Dressler Leadership Award and NPR with the i3 Award for Impact, Innovation, and Influence. We're also excited this year that we're also recognizing 60 Minutes for 50 years of excellence in broadcast journalism. I'd like to thank Ms. Nevins for being here and to thank special guests Aaron Lee Carr, Yoram Mon, Robert Siegel, and Jeff Fager for helping us to present these honors. I also have to thank our luncheon co-chairs, Christina Hahn and Bruce Perlmutter, both alumni of the University and the Newhouse School. And also our Mistress of Ceremonies, Kimberly Brooks, who you'll be meeting shortly. And I would have to thank the many alumni, faculty, and friends of the school who serve as judges and organizers for the awards competition. It is a lot of work, as you can imagine, reading all of those entries. And I want to extend a warm welcome to those who were able to join us today. Would our judges please stand up and be recognized for a moment? I know you're out there. Thank you so much. I also like to recognize Chancellor Kent Severud, Vice Chancellor and Provost Michelle Wheatley, and members of the Syracuse University Board of Trustees who are in attendance, including our friend and supporter, Bob Myron, and Steve Barnes, Chairman of the Board of Trustees. Thank you for being here with us today. And I would be remiss, although I know he hates it, if I did not thank our friend and patron saint, Donald Newhouse, who also joins us today. His unwavering and ongoing support and faith in the school means so much to us. Thank you, Donald, for all you do. Finally, we are delighted to be joined by some of our students and recent graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to have an empty seat at your table, would you please raise your hand? We'd love to have you meet and get to know some of our outstanding young people. Please begin to enjoy your lunch. Our awards program will begin shortly. Thank you. Bon appetit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, anchor, and correspondent for Fusion TV, Kimberly Brooks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so delighted to be here today with all of you to help honor the men and women whose work reminds us of how important journalism is to our democracy and society. So we realize how important it is to keep the program moving and to get everyone out on time. So we are going to begin the awards. So continue to enjoy your lunch and dessert as we get started. Now, my job is to just make sure that I pronounce all of these names correctly and that I say the right winners so we don't have a Steve Harvey moment. And your job is to have fun. When your table wins, I need you to clap and be excited for them. And if they don't win, still clap so everyone feels okay, okay? So are you guys ready? All right. Very good. So we're gonna begin with our juried awards. So over the past 2 months, our double tier of judges whittled down over 230 entries, and they whittled it down to 21 finalists in 6 categories. The results provide a snapshot of the major media moments of 2017, reminding us what was important, what has changed, and what's at stake. So this year's entries delved into topics ranging from neo-Nazism to the media bubble to ad fraud, and of course, fake news and Me Too. And now, the 2018 Mirror Award winners. Are you guys ready? I gotta hear you. We need some energy in here. There we go. All right. So our first award is for Best Profile. This recognizes a carefully researched and sourced piece about an individual or organization noteworthy in the media industry. The finalists are Editor in Exile by Lois Parshley for Pacific Standard. Is Trump whisperer Maggie Haberman changing the New York Times by Joe Pompeo for Vanity Fair? CNN's Jake Tapper is the realest man in fake news by Taffy Brodesser-Akner for GQ. And the Mirror Award goes to, I feel like I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Lois Parshley for her piece Editor in Exile for Pacific Standard. Give it up for her. Judges called Parshley's piece deeply reported and evocatively written, a superb example of profile writing within the context of political turmoil and journalism heroism.
Hello. First, I would like to say a heartfelt thanks to Nick Jackson, Ryan Jacobs, and all of the wonderful fact checkers who we appreciate today more than ever at Pacific Standard. I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to help share the important reporting that Zahina Rashid has been doing in the Maldives. As she says, dictatorships find that their biggest enemy is the truth, so they go after the people who criticize them. As someone with education and international networks, she feels pressure to use that privilege to stand up for the truth. It's an exercise in courage that we could all keep in mind. Thank you.
So Lois Parshley. So we'll do this with you. We're gonna take a picture with you, and so for everyone that wins, we'll have a nice photo at the end. So come back up for just a second. We don't wanna miss you getting your photo. All right, you guys, next up we have the Mirror Award for Best Single Article or Story. The finalists are RT, Sputnik, and Russia's New Theory of War by Jim Rutenberg for the New York Times Magazine. The Sinclair Revolution will be televised. It'll just have low production values by Felix Gillette for Bloomberg Businessweek. And Sheldon Adelson Playing to Win by Nadine Epstein and Wesley G. Pippert for Moment. Report from Whitefish After the Cyberstorm by Ellen Wexler, also for Moment. And the Mirror Award goes to Jim Rutenberg for his piece, RT, Sputnik, and Russia's New Theory of War for the New York Times Magazine. Judges said Rutenberg's piece was a fantastic story that appears to shine a light on state-owned media and how it works. Give it up for Jim.
I picked a bad day to start day drinking. I just wanted to thank my editor of the magazine, Jake Silverstein, who's here, who let me go to Moscow and Berlin in the summer, which I very much recommend in July. My direct editor on that was Charlie Homans. Jessica Lustig, who was our top-line editor, who was just did a terrific job with great suggestions. The copy editing, which never gets the due that it deserves. Dan Fromson, our great fact-checking team, Jackie Pizer, who did a terrific job helping to research this and report it. And I just want to say this category in general, that everybody's work was so great, and it really struck me that what we were all talking about and writing about was the misuse of media. So that was whether it was Felix Gillette's excellent piece on Sinclair, which has proven quite prescient, Nadine Epstein and Wesley Pippert's, I hope I didn't mispronounce Pippert, great piece on Sheldon Adelson, or Ellen Wexler on the use of the web to spread anti-Semitism. And I guess all I can say is for 2018, we can solve that misuse of media with good media. That's the only answer to bad media, is good media and staying focused on the truth. And I'm looking forward to another great year of journalism from all of us. Thank you.
Moving right along on to the Best Commentary category, we honor those writers who demonstrate deep knowledge of the issues, analytic skills, and a unique voice. The finalists are What's Going to Save Journalism by Leslie Savin for The Nation, Don't Let the Koch brothers Buy Time Magazine by Charles Alexander for The Nation. MTV News and other sites are frantically pivoting to video. It Won't Work by Zach Schoenfeld for Newsweek. The Media Bubble is Worse Than You Think by Jack Schaefer and Tucker Doherty for Politico. And the Mirror Award goes to Jack Schaefer and Tucker Doherty for their piece, The Media Bubble is Worse Than You Think for Politico. Judges applauded the article as a good mix of data and commentary that stirred genuine debate in the industry.
Well, I wanted to first thank my co-author, Jack, who couldn't be here. In a lot of ways, he and I are sort of polar opposites, and I think that's really actually what made the story work. I sort of brought in the data side, and he's sort of an old fogey who's been around the media circle for decades, and I think without the two of us working together, it couldn't have come together. I'd like to thank the wonderful magazine team at Politico, and all my editors, Margie, Steve, Todd, and everyone else who helped with the piece. So thank you.
So, as you know, in addition to the traditional award categories, it was mentioned that this year's Mirror Awards competition also included two special categories created in response to the attention to and coverage of these topics. They are Best Story on Fake News and Best Story on Sexual Misconduct in the Media Industry. So, we're going to give the awards for these. So first up, we have Best Story on Fake News. The finalists are Amanda Robb's Pizzagate, a slice of fake news for reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting, and a second piece, Anatomy of a Fake News Scandal for Rolling Stone. We have Inside the Macedonian Fake News Complex by Samanth Subramanian for Wired. And Don't Blame the Election on Fake News, Blame It on the Media, by Duncan J. Watts and David M. Rothschild for Columbia Journalism Review. And the Mirror Award goes to Amanda Robb for her reporting on the Pizzagate incident. Judges praised Robb for her insightful, in-depth reporting of how even the wildest rumors can get traction in the digital age.
Didn't occur to me that I would win or that I would be here alone for a huge team of people. I guess just thanks to Rolling Stone, Reveal, the Center for Investigative Reporting, and the Investigative Fund. This took an enormous amount of work and resources by a team of 12 people. And I think that's the way it goes now. You know, we need to all do this together. So thank you very much.
Do it right here in the center, right here. Okay. I'll come to this side. Come to my side. Okay. Congratulations. Yes. All right, you guys, we got to keep the energy up. Got to clap a little louder. Where are you out there? All right. We now present the Mirror Award for Best Story on Sexual Misconduct in the Media Industry. The finalists are Your Reckoning and Mine by Rebecca Traister for The Cut. 8 women say Charlie Rose sexually harassed them with nudity, groping, and lewd calls by Erin Carmone and Amy Britton for The Washington Post. Advice, Cutting-Edge Media and Allegations of Old School Sexual Harassment by Emily Steele for The New York Times. And the Mirror Award goes to Erin Carmone and Amy Britton for their article, 8 Women Say Charlie Rose Sexually Harassed Them for The Washington Post. Give it up for them. Judges said the writers make good use of their sources, named and unnamed. The story is well written, flows well, and presents a good, believable account of Rose's conduct.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm incredibly honored to accept this award with my fierce and fearless co-reporter, Amy Britton, without whom this story would never have happened. And I'm grateful to our editors, Jeff Lean and Dave Fallis at The Washington Post. I'm grateful to the Newhouse School. I'm grateful to the people in the room, including in our category, Emily and Rebecca, and also to Ronan and to Jody and to Megan for showing us the way and for teaching us so much about how to respectfully and rigorously report these kinds of stories. I just want to say one thing. I think there's a temptation to think that the last few months have been about individual men, that it's about a handful of bad apples, and that if we get rid of them, it will end the cycle of harassment and abuse. But it's not true. The stories that we've been doing are actually about a system. The system has lawyers and a good reputation. It has publicists. It has a perfectly reasonable explanation about what happened. It has powerful friends that will ask, is this really worth ruining the career of a good man? What one woman says, what 4 women say, what 35 women say. Indeed, the system is sitting in this room, some more than others. The system is still powerful men getting stories killed that I believe will someday see the light of day. After all, it took 7 years from the time that I found out about Charlie Rose until Amy's and my story was published. So the larger story about how this behavior persists in our industry will also take time. But if we're going to earn the trust of our readers and our viewers, we have to tell the truth about ourselves. And I know that there are a lot of people in this room who are committed to that. We've only just begun. Thank you.
You can go this way or that way. And now for our final juried category, the John M. Higgins Award for Best In-Depth Enterprise Reporting. As a cable industry beat reporter and then as an editor at Broadcasting and Cable, John Higgins exemplified fairness and excellence in media reporting. With this award, we honor a reporter or a team of writers who tackled big issues with keen analysis and excellent reporting. The finalists for the 2018 Higgins Award are The Making of an American Nazi by Luke O'Brien for The Atlantic, a series of investigative pieces on Harvey Weinstein by Ronan Farrow for The New Yorker, a series of investigative pieces on Harvey Weinstein by Jodi Kantor, Megan Twohey, Rachel Abrams, Ellen Gabler, Susan Dominus, hello, old professor, and Steve Eder for The New York Times. A series of pieces on ad fraud by Craig Silverman for BuzzFeed News. And the Mirror Award goes to. All right, so for the first time in Mirror Awards history, there's a tie. Judges decided that both series of investigative pieces on Harvey Weinstein by Ronan Farrow for The New Yorker and by the team at The New York Times were deserving of the award. Ironically, this decision was made in advance of the Pulitzer Board announcing its decision in April, so we guess great judging minds think alike. So about the New Yorker pieces, judges said Ronan Farrow's work is truly amazing and led the pack in a story that's impact reverberates way beyond the New Yorker readership. Not only did this work spur a conversation, but also ongoing efforts to end the cycle of workplace abuse. And about the New York Times pieces, judges said, brilliantly executed and the best of what a great newspaper does. This is having a real impact not only on the media industry, but throughout the workplace. So guys, please give a good hand for both of the teams. Here to accept on behalf of Ronan Farrow is senior editor at The New Yorker, Deidre Foley Mendelson. And accepting for the New York Times team are Jim Rutenberg, Rachel Abrams, Susan Dominus, and Megan Twohey. Guys, come to the stage.
Ronan is so sad not to be here to accept this wonderful honor himself. He's on vacation for the first time in ages, and since we've seen how productive he can be, we're hoping that he will get in a year's worth of sleep and round meals in this 1 week. I know that he joins me in thanking our wonderful editor-in-chief, David Remnick, who stood by this story, my fellow editor, David Rode, our lawyer, Fabio Bertoni. Important to have a good lawyer in pieces like this. Our incredible fact-checkers, Fergus McIntosh, Tammy Kim, Natalie Mead, our wonderful publicity team led by Natalie Raby, and our web editor, Mike Luo, and all of the other people who made this story possible, as well as the fellow journalists who inspired us, moved the story forward, who created the best of all possible worlds, I think, in terms of breaking a story. I'm grateful to all of them and to Rin and the other people who were nominated in categories involving sexual misconduct and to that wonderful speech that we just heard. Most importantly, thank you to the incredibly brave and remarkable women who spoke to him, who deserve so much credit for all of this. Thank you.
We've been just so blown away this whole year by first of all, the bravery, as we can't say it enough, of the women who stepped forward, of the cultural reaction, of the power of journalism to do something really good in this culture, despite all of the attacks of the past couple of years. Ronan, congratulations to our colleagues at The New Yorker. I think this was a great example, too, of competition sometimes being really healthy, which is why I thank the new Syracuse University and Newhouse for supporting awards like this that kind of support what we all do. It's so important, and we've just seen the effects in ways I haven't seen in 20 years of doing this. We're lucky to work for an institution that gives us time and resources to get to the bottom of these stories. So Emily Steele is here, who was nominated for her great work at Vice, but those stories about Bill O'Reilly were so pivotal, so important in showing that we can get to the bottom of what's going on. These stories don't have to be he said, she said. I'm going to turn it over to Susan here to take it home.
And not only that you could get to the bottom of these stories, but that you could actually see and affect real change. And our thanks also have to extend to Dean Baquet, who is really behind Emily's reporting for the beginning and showed us just how much of an effect that kind of reporting could do. As for other people at the Times who contributed to this reporting, we also want to thank, obviously, our editor, Rebecca Corbett, who is tireless, inspiring, and completely pure of focus, as well as Rory Tolan, who was an indispensable editor on our project, and so many others, and just the general support from the newsroom and the community about hard work, and the people who, took risks, great risks, to finally come out and tell the truth about what they'd been seeing for many, many years. So, thank you very much.
Congratulations again to all of our juried award winners. How are you guys feeling? You doing okay? Sheila and Evans doing okay? Yes, good. Okay, so now it is time to present the I3 Award for Impact, Innovation, and Influence. This award is given by the Newhouse School to recognize an individual or an organization that has focused the public's attention on the importance of the media to our economy, our democracy, and culture. The recipient of this year's I3 Award is NPR. Here to offer remarks is award-winning journalist and former All Things Considered senior host, Robert Siegel.
Hi, I'm very honored to have this opportunity to speak in praise of NPR, where I worked for over 40 years. NPR is the rare news organization that was from birth what we would call today a legacy medium. We were the afterthought to what was intended to be the Public Television Act, Washington's effort to improve what had been decried as a vast wasteland, American television. At the urging of a group of mostly land-grant university station managers, radio was added to the name to make the broader category of public broadcasting. When I arrived at NPR in late 1976, we had fewer than a dozen reporters, one in New York and the rest in Washington. We produced one big daily program, All Things Considered. We joked that we were so small, such an afterthought, that the Nixon White House forgot to attack us the way they attacked public television. We didn't even matter to them. But what we lacked in size, NPR made up for with other assets, and one asset was the determination to innovate. NPR was committed to presenting the news in a conversational style when the rule was to sound like the voice of God. And in fact, many of our best voices sound more like goddesses than gods, women on the air at a time when that wasn't so common, frankly. Our mission statement promised that we would present the varied accents of our country, and we did, before diversity became so cool. Our Washington reporters cared as much about the Congress and the Supreme Court as about the White House, and we cared as much about science as we did about politics. We aimed to use all the tools of radio to tell a well-reported story, good sound, interesting production, good writing, tools that survived on commercial radio, but mostly in the commercials, not in what came in between. We pioneered satellite distribution, launching Morning Edition as a network station collaboration, and that provided a platform on which local newsrooms could grow, and they did, and we grew too. I was NPR's first foreign-based staffer, and I remember being stunned to realize that by 9/11, we had more full-time foreign correspondents than the big networks had. We've negotiated the advent of satellite radio, digital media, internet radio, and we've become a leader in the brave new world of podcasting. Journalism, especially broadcast journalism, is of course a team sport, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are being recognized today. But every winning team needs a great manager, and NPR needs a very multi-talented skipper, part news publisher, part media visionary, part entrepreneur, part guide and spokesman for a vast nationwide system, and several parts fundraiser. In Jarl Mohn, we have that rare mix of talents and experiences. He came to NPR having been board chair of a local station. He'd been a shrewd entrepreneur in cable, and most important to me as a radio lifer, he started out as a disc jockey, so he understands that in addition to NPR's impact on American news audiences, in addition to its sober mission, radio is also really fun. So to accept this award for impact, innovation, and influence, I am honored to introduce NPR's president and NPR's leader, Jarl Mohn.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Robert. It's an honor to be here today representing NPR and to share the podium with Robert Siegel, who is committed, as you heard, over 40 years of his life and his career to building NPR. First as a reporter, foreign correspondent, he ran our news division for many years, and of course, many of you know him as the host of All Things Considered. And as we consider where we are now, I'm really thankful for the work and the excellence that Robert has embodied at our shop. And Robert, I have to tell you, every afternoon I miss your voice, I miss your brilliance, and I miss your wit. Thanks for all you've done for NPR. And to Dean Branham at the Newhouse School, thank you, Dean Branham, for this I3 Award for Innovation, Impact, and Influence. Thanks for recognizing NPR and the work of my colleagues, a number of whom are here at Table 7 today. Thank you for joining us. And Dean, your commitment and the commitment of Syracuse University and the Newhouse School to educate and to create the next generation of Robert Siegels and brilliant journalists is really a service to our country. It's a service to our informed citizens and to something that's so important, which is civil discourse. I was thrilled to hear from the Dean that 100 students graduated from the journalism program this year. But the thing that was most encouraging to me, which I just found out today, is enrollment is up in the journalism program after years of being flat or declining. Many more students are choosing this as a line of work. And if you think about it, that's really interesting. The dean tells me that many of them most of them in fact, want to be investigative journalists. This is great news. Our business journalism is under fire. It's been under economic siege for decades as local newspapers cut back, merge, or shut down. Most journalistic organizations are having their credibility attacked daily, and the trust and the confidence of scores of listeners, readers, and users are at historic lows for our craft in general. And even with that, young people, many more of them, want to join this line of work. That is really great news for all of us. I don't know how many of you in the room were graduates, or are graduates of the Newhouse School, recent graduates. Hands? Yeah? Good. We need you. We need you. And we hope you'll join us at NPR or at some of these other great news organizations that are being honored today. We hope you will commit yourself to the tenets of accuracy, fact-based, fair reporting, and not be pulled into the vortex of ideology or sensationalistic journalism. All across the country, Our colleagues at public radio stations are addressing the reduction of local coverage with growing newsrooms and growing resources. Member stations are locally owned, locally managed too. It's one of the many things that makes public radio unique in a vastly consolidated world. In large markets like here in New York or in LA at KPCC, San Francisco, KQED, huge newsrooms and growing, but also in media markets. Portland, Oregon, KOPB, Birmingham, Alabama, WBHM, two cities without daily newspapers where public radio is picking up the slack. Amongst these radio stations, over 1,800 reporters, producers, editors across the entire public system. These are folks that don't work for NPR. They work for our member stations, and they serve their communities. We're really excited about the future of public service, listener-supported journalism, and the work that many of you in this room are doing and are being recognized for today. So we're deeply thankful to Dean Branham. We're deeply thankful to the school, Newhouse School, and Syracuse University in recognition of this Impact, Influence, and Innovation Award. So on behalf of the 920 people of NPR and our 261 member stations across the country that partner with us, I want to thank you all. We really appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Dean Lorraine Branham.
Could we get another round of applause for all of our award winners? Well, I'm back up here because this year we're adding a special recognition to the Mirror Awards roster of honorees. 60 Minutes is the most successful American broadcast in history, and 2018 marks the program's 50th year on the air. 50 years. Think of how much has changed since then in the country, and for those of you who are old enough to remember 1968, our lives. Yet the relevance and the quality of 60 Minutes hasn't changed. It continues to be a television mainstay, drawing some 12 million viewers a week, and that's not even counting its radio and online audiences. Who doesn't immediately recognize the tick, 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 tick classic 60 Minutes opening? From a look behind the scenes in the 1968 presidential campaigns of Richard Nixon and Hubert Humphrey, which was the show's first episode, to the explosive interview with Big Tobacco's insider Jeffrey Wiegand in 1996, to the recent ratings-topping segment with Stormy Daniels, 60 Minutes has brought people together and made them think. And in the case of the incomparable Andy Rooney, made them chuckle. We at the Newhouse School have a personal connection to 60 Minutes as well. Steve Kroft, a nearly 20-year veteran of the show, is a Syracuse University alumnus, a member of what is informally known as the Newhouse Mafia. Steve, thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do for the school and our students, and thank you for being a part of the wonderful 60 Minutes that we all know and love. The Newhouse School is hardly alone in seeking to honor 60 Minutes. The show has earned every major broadcast award and has won more Peabody and Emmy Awards than any single news program. So on behalf of the Newhouse School, I'm happy to recognize 60 Minutes for 50 years of excellence in broadcast journalism. Now, please turn your attention to this tribute video outlining some of the highlights of the show's half-century on the air. Please help me welcome Jeff Fager, executive producer of 60 Minutes, who will accept the honor on behalf of the program and CBS.
Thank you so much, Dean Branham. That was really nicely said. It's great to be here. Such a nice award and important. And we do have a lot of Newhouse people. Steve being mentioned, I can tell you that everybody at our table did better in college and would have done better at Newhouse than Steve Kroft. But he's managed to be one of the best storytellers that has ever worked at CBS News. It makes us better all of the time. I just wanted, we have, as the dean said, received a number of awards recently. I wanted to mention one that also meant a lot to us, which is the Fred Friendly First Amendment Award. And I'm only going to mention it because of this great email I got afterwards. It's from Mo Rocca, one of our correspondents. He said, Jeff, so sorry. I missed your tribute Fred Friendly lunch last Wednesday. But my mother turned 90 on the same day, plus my mother hated Fred Friendly. Rest assured, when you turn 90, I'll be there. I wrote back, I loved your note. Would you like us to send you the speech so you could learn a few things? And he wrote back and he said, you mean your First Amendment speech? I'll pass. To paraphrase my Second Amendment friends, lunches don't kill people, speeches at lunches kill people. I couldn't resist. I'm accepting this on behalf of Don Hewitt and all of the founders of 60 Minutes who started our broadcast 50 years ago. It's amazing. They're all gone. Every one of them is gone, but I know they would be proud of this award, and I know that they would be proud of the broadcast that we put on every Sunday night. We've changed over the years. We've evolved with the times, but we have not changed our standards and our values. And I think that has a huge part of why we still are successful. And we take those standards and values from the founders of CBS News. These things are what we hold so carefully and what we care about so much, covering what's important, with fairness and accuracy as our top priorities. Never underestimating the intelligence of the audience. Never doing audience research to determine what stories the audience wants us to cover, which puts the onus on us to make them so interesting, to tell them so well that you just have to stay and watch. It can be a painstaking process to get a story on 60 Minutes, but most of the time it's a wonderful collaboration of some of the most talented people that work in our business. They're the cream of the crop, and they prove it every Sunday night. I really don't like to talk about ratings very much. It's taboo. The dean gave us 12 million viewers a year. It's a little bit more than that. I like to quote from a number that just came in. It actually is the number that counts how many viewers watch in a single year. It's Nielsen's cumulative average. And this year, for the 11th straight year, we were the #1 most watched show in America with over 100 million viewers. The Voice was second, 20 million behind us. I really think that the reason I think that number is important is that we use the same words that you heard Jarl use, public service. We still care about, it's still what drives us, is a public service broadcast. Many, many years after news on television in particular became business driven. And I think that the audience knows that, the audience feels that, and that's a huge part of why we're still thriving today. Thank you all very much.
It's so funny because right before this program started, my dad called and I told him, I was like, I'm going to have to call you right back. I just have a quick lunch and I'll call you right back. He had no idea that it was any of this. So once I tell him, he's going to be quite impressed. I'm really sad, guys, because our program is coming to a close. But before we close our program today, we can't leave without honoring Sheila Nevins. Yes, she's the executive producer and former president of HBO Documentary Films, and we're honoring her with the Fred Dressler Leadership Award. The award was named for the late Time Warner Cable executive and Newhouse alumnus Fred Dressler, and it's given by the Newhouse School to recognize an individual who has made distinct, consistent, and unique contributions to the public's understanding of the media. This year, the Dressler Award goes to Sheila Nevins, and here to present this award is Aaron Lee Carr. But first, we have a great tribute video. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Lee Carr.
What an amazing video. As you can see, many people have a lot to say about Sheila Nevins, including Sheila, recipient of today's Dressler Award. Everybody in the documentary community has a Sheila story. Can you recall another person whose name inspires so much confidence and perhaps fear? I cannot. So please allow me to share one of my Sheila stories. This was in 2013, and I was attempting to make the grand leap from web videos to feature filmmaking. I met with director Andrew Rossi, who suggested we should pitch something to Sheila and her colleague Sarah Bernstein. I was instantly racked with nerves, but I knew that this could be an incredible meeting. I worked for 7 days straight to refine a pitch about an internet story I had inside access to. My father, the late and great David Carr, thanks, carefully reminded me to have other pitches ready just in case. I stared at Sheila as we shook hands. She met my gaze and didn't blink. She immediately looked around and said, "Does it smell like gasoline in here?" It didn't smell toxic to me, but what did I know? The men were called to check the levels. I sat there. Was this the time to pitch her? I didn't think so. I waited for the men to leave us. I steeled myself. I felt the words I so carefully crafted come out of my mouth. Then after about 30 seconds, she said, "I have no interest in that." Jesus. I felt my golden shot leaving me. What were those other ideas again? I jumped back in and caught her attention. She asked fascinating, probing questions, and I felt, for the first time, like a subject. After a 4-hour-long meeting where we discussed Christianity, circumcision, nuns, Russians, Warhol, mortality, and her dreams, I again stared at her. She looked at me and said, "I don't like your ideas, but I like you. Let's find something to work on together." And with that, the last 5 years went by. I am not alone in this experience. I am literally one of hundreds of filmmakers Sheila has mentored, produced, fought, and made up with. She's a tough critic, but an even tougher friend and ally. She knows implicitly the way to the center of a case. Sheila is a champion for the every man as well as the every woman story. She knows that power must be questioned, institutions checked, and voices given to the voiceless. From the Jinx to Real Sex to the Case Against 8, her versatility as a producer knows no bounds, and she has the awards to prove it, like the Mirror Award. But I don't think she does it for the awards. She does it to make films be part of the national conversation. She sees documentary filmmaking and journalism as a critical part of the dialogue, something we need now more than ever. Sheila is comfortable using multiple mediums to tell stories that matter. From documentary to her book, You Don't Look Your Age and Other Fairy Tales, the book is chock full of insight and secrets just like her. After so many years of telling other stories, it was time to tell her own. It was and is remarkably brave, just like her. Okay, enough compliments, because I'm not exactly sure she likes them. Without further ado, please welcome to the stage the singular Sheila Nevins.
I like compliments. I like compliments. It's your ideas I didn't like. Between Erin and I have something very quick to say. You will be out. Nothing is too short. Between Erin and I, there are probably 50 years. I have learned so much from Erin. I cannot tell you. And Erin, could I say that you've learned from me? I want to talk about ageism, and then I'm going to get out of here. I want to say that I'm, quote, retired, and I thought that would be a good thing. Except then I looked it up, and it said, among other things like gardening and cooking, none of which I know how to do, it also said that I would be able to do all the things that I had never been able to do. Well, I've been able, through work, to do all the things I ever really want to do. Not wanted, but want. And so I would say that the word retirement should be replaced with the word next, and that ageism should be a new frontier for some of us. Come on, we can think. Maybe I don't know your name, but I know what you're about. Anyway, my number is 917-686-4154. Thank you for this award. Thank you, Erin.
I got your number, Sheila.
Okay. Everybody's got it.
Well, thank you, Sheila. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for our Master of Ceremonies, Kimberly Brooks, for Sheila Nevins, and our NPR and Yarl Moan and our other awardees today. This has been an amazing afternoon, and hopefully a reminder to all about the importance of journalism in a democratic society. The Founding Fathers understood the need for a free and independent press to serve as a watchdog on government. The Mirror Awards underscores the need for the press to look inward at itself as well. Congratulations to Sheila Nevins, NPR, 60 Minutes, and all of our award winners. We had a lot of amazing work from which to choose this year. Many thanks again to our premier sponsor, Discovery Inc., and my thanks to all of you for your support of the Mirror Awards. Don't forget to grab a cupcake on your way out, compliments of Discovery Inc. We hope to see you all next year. Have a great weekend. Thank you.